Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. When we last left off, we wrecked a butter town for story reasons. We'll get to the story reasons here in just a bit. But there's a couple things I need to do in the Inferno and also a couple other things. First things first, I think I forgot to set the direction of the dragon who's going to be sitting here. He's going to be... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I have him facing the correct direction. Kind of interesting, by the way, that I have it set up so that just to the south of Buttertown, unbeknownst to the player, is a roasted version of Buttertown. Kind of interesting, that. So, let's see here. I need to do a couple of things. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into the skill editor, the job classes, and I'm going to max out all the status resistance of each job class. The reason why I'm doing that is because I feel like the status resistance buffs of each of these characters is not quite big enough to matter on their own. I mean, 74 might sound like it's a lot, but considering the player is probably only going to be at maybe level 10 by the end of the game, that's not going to get really high. So now, with that extra buff going on, the nurse is going to have 990 status resistance at level 10, which would equate to, like, almost 10% resistance against poison, which is better than what it was before at this level, which was somewhere a little over 7%. You never know, those extra few percentages might be making all the difference. Along with that, I want to change a couple of monster names. I'm going to once again change the name of the lizard woman. I'm going to name her Kabul. Because I kind of figure these gals are going to be hanging out around where Daristrix the dragon is, and naturally kobolds are always hanging around dragons, so there we go. I'm also going to change the name of the horned whale, because that's kind of generic. We're going to call the horned whale Moby Jerk. Is there a white version of this out of curiosity? Yeah, there kind of is. Is that better than the dark version? I mean, Moby Dick is kind of known for being white, but given that we're in a lava place, I think the color I had is making a little more sense. Speaking of Moby Jerk, next thing I'm going to do is head back into the Inferno. And last time, well, earlier anyway, I wound up discovering that because of all these events here, even if they're not doing anything, they prevent you from getting into random encounters. And I kind of want there to be some random encounters if you're walking along in the lava and stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and have that be a thing. Specifically, we're going to make it so that walking through the lava is how you have a chance of getting Moby Jerk to appear. So I need a three-way choice. So the probability of choice number 2 is going to be 15%. And probability of choice number 3 is going to be 5%. Nothing's going to happen normally, but choice 2 sometimes will randomly have a sound effect play. This one right here. The sound of Moby Jerk. Kinda to hint that there's something swimming in the lava. And then of course, we got the battle of Moby Jerk itself. So, Moby Jerk. You know, something I didn't really fully point out, by the way, is how monster selection works. So, I'll go ahead and set this battle up real quick. There's also an option right here where we could have battle until the battle is over, but there's also an option to have a battle end after so many turns. We'll possibly use that later on, maybe not. I don't know necessarily that I would use it, but we could potentially have it so that a fight ends after 200 turns, which if you wind up making a boss that is so difficult to take out that it takes 200 turns just for it to wear out, you're doing something wrong. Don't do that. So it'll be a battle to the end. So in regards to selecting monsters, this right here, because this is an event battle we're choosing specifically what monsters actually appear in the battle. In this case, we're only having a Moby Jerk. Also, because Moby Jerk is so big, even if we put in some other monsters, only Moby Jerk will be able to fit on the battlefield, and the rest of the monsters just won't be in it. However, if we go over to the monster appearance editor, and we're like, let's see here, going with this selection right here where we're selecting monsters, we're not selecting what monsters appear in specific battles, we're actually selecting what monsters can appear in battle. So, RPG Maker will wind up choosing randomly from this list and placing them in battle, depending on the size of the monsters. Once again, if it winds up choosing Moby Jerk, we're not actually going to fight Moby Jerk because it's too big for any other monsters to fit in the battle. With that said, I'm actually going to do something here. I'm going to remove all the other monsters that are over here. This section here, leading up to where the dragon is going to be entirely populated by she-kobolds. And I'm also going to do something similar with these other areas. For this area, first off, we're not going to have any fire ants. We are going to have a likely chance of finding these radishes, though. So, multiple slots I'm filling it because I assume that's going to make it more likely that these will be picked. But there's also a chance that a she-kobold could appear. And down here, let's see, what do I have the rest of these set at? So, first area has nothing but fire ants. Second area, let's lower the odds of finding the fire ants a bit. There also won't be any she-kobolds in this section. And we'll really lower the odds of finding fire ants in this section. And this will be... So if this has fire ants and radishes... we could make this section have nothing but radishes. Maybe I'll have to think about that, although I don't really have time to think about it because I need to play through the dungeon again, make sure everything's balanced out. Speaking of balancing, I'm gonna have to think about the radish's likelihood of poisoning you. So, what do I have over here? The fire ants and radishes. No she-kobolds in this section. So we'll do it like that. So the radishes have a chance of poisoning you. I've got that currently set at 10%. I think actually I'm going to bump it up to 15%. Make it a little bit more likely. By the way, I wouldn't, under normal circumstances, recommend making monsters in the first dungeon poisonous. It's kind of not a good way to ease the player in. It's generally better to have the poison be a thing in later dungeons and other status inflictions. Because this game is so short, it's only going to have 2 dungeons, I'm making an exception, and we do have poisonous monsters in this first dungeon. And with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and load up my test play. I created a new test play already using the extra stat buffs for status resistances, so I don't have to start that over. We'll go ahead and play through the dungeon here again. I'll try to make things a little bit more interesting as I play through it this time. Use some of my special skills instead of just regular attacks. So for this fight, see all these ants? Yeah, let's what we're gonna do is use our fire stick against them and hope that it doesn't break on the first turn. It didn't. And I already know through testing that traversing through this dungeon, we gain a couple levels by the time we leave it. I'm a little curious what it's like to fight the giants right now. So let's find out. I have them balanced with the ice stick in mind, but we don't have that. So once again, take our chances with the fire stick. Didn't break, good. These guys have some high defense, and even higher attack. Ideally, you would not be fighting these guys already. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen. Screw you guys. Yeah, as tough as these guys are, definitely easier if you happen to have the ice rod. Oh well, this fight will go a little bit easier now that we're down to just one of them. Maybe we'll get the opportunity to have both of us attack. Indeed we do! I'm hesitant to use the fire stick now because now is probably when it's going to break, and I'd like to still have it on hand as we move forward. Oh, thank goodness for the counterattack. And we got 2 giant shields. Okay. Sure. We'll take advantage of that. So her guard is going to go up from 35 to 55. So that's going to reduce her damage taken from... That basically amounts to 10 points less damage she's going to wind up taking. Got really lucky with that drop. Also, totally not going to continue through there because the encounter rate in there is set pretty dang high. So let's just go around this way. We got some more fire ants, several of them in fact. We'll go ahead and use the fire stick against you guys. No, that one wanted to go first. Oh, and there goes the fire stick. Alas. Oh well, we'll be able to buy more. Couple new spells we got, by the way. We got this dance, which I'm definitely going to take advantage of now that we have it. And we got this revive spell, which is probably not going to get used much because, as I've mentioned before, Revive in RPG Maker 1 revives you with 1 HP. That is dumb. Alright, got our ice stick. Also, hello there, Atlantis. Welcome to my stream. Atlantis recommends creating the encounter down spell and put it on an item that we could use. You know, that's not a bad idea. I hadn't even thought of that. Which is surprising because I did think of it off camera but never came to mind on camera. There is in fact a spell that allows you to lower the encounter rate, and it is pretty dang good. In fact, I think I have mentioned it before in this series at some point. Okay, aiming for the fire ants first. since they go down pretty dang easy. Also, critical hits. For the win. And now we're entering Kabul territory. Naturally, they would ambush us. Good news is, they didn't really take the opportunity to all attack us. Kind of a weird thing in RPG Maker, actually. Even whenever we have a situation like this, where we have 4 enemies who could easily attack us, sometimes they sit there and do nothing, even if they're programmed to not sit there and do nothing. Time for healing. We have not encountered a situation where we've been poisoned by those radishes yet, but then again, we've only seen the one so far. And as we go along, no doubt we'll hit another one of those battles. Or maybe we won't. That works too. Got the hammer. We're definitely going up here to get our dragon. You who do not fear lava, you're cool, make you cooler. I did, in fact, off camera, change how quickly the whooshing lava sound went. Let's go ahead and get these dragon scales equipped because they are useful. And you might have noticed just now, or maybe earlier, that I still have the defense up items on hand. I'm going to apply them to Darastrix. Kind of balance things like that from here on. Because Darastrix's defense is going to rapidly be going up. Oh, right, and let's see how this works with the rate of finding the whale. There's the whale. And by the way, because this battle was triggered by a script, we can't run from it. Since I have now made this so that you can't fight this thing until after getting Darastrix, I'm probably going to want to give it some more health. Yeah, a little bit more health wouldn't be a bad thing. Didn't get the sleep item from the whale, but there's a pretty dang small chance of that happening. I'm gonna go ahead and create a quick save here. Oh, wait a sec! Duh! I just remembered something. I'll get onto it momentarily. For now, I'm gonna give Moby Jerk... We'll settle for 210 HP. I actually do have a thing that lowers the encounter rate. Darastrix has it. He can roar to lower the encounter rate. I'm not going to use it though because I kind of want to make sure that let's fight another whale. I'm not going to use the roar just yet. Because I want to make sure that we gain another level before we leave this place. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to possibly not do that. Let's go to plan option. Go over to you. Don't use anything in the bag. If you need to be healed, we'll be the ones to heal you. In fact, get rid of... Yeah, get rid of all the aids. And all the cures. And the bag. Everything else, though, you can go ahead and do Daristrix. Also, hello there, Deg Zerkling. Welcome to my stream. I forget what turn number we are currently on. And hello, Lit. Awesome of y'all to show up. Still no horn whistle, but that's okay. We'll move on as though we don't have it. Because we don't. Sure. We'll take on y'all. I need to try out the confusion thing. Oh, by the way, there's an interesting thing about being able to attack more than once. If you manage to kill an enemy with the first half of your attack, you get to move on with the next enemy with the rest of your attack. Those giant shields that Jenny was lucky enough to get are really helpful. Got a blimp. Hooray, this is what I wanted. Now I can fly to the sun. Screech. Okay, fine, you don't have to come with me. Alright, next fight I'm using the dance technique. So come here, enemies, I want to use the dance technique. You guys will do. Also got cheer now. That would definitely be helpful, but nah, we'll use the dance. And for funsies, we'll also have one of you fall asleep. Three out of 4 enemies confused? Good. And made the one fall asleep, and those guys are suddenly not confused. That is why I have the confuse spell going after all enemies, because if it was just one of them, that could have potentially been a complete waste. Meanwhile, Daristrix has learned something new already. What have you learned, Daristrix? Poison Breath. That's not going to be useful here, but we'll keep it in mind for the future. How's the rest of us doing on level? Did we already gain that second level? Oh, we did. Well, in that case, let's try out that roar. We have roared. So, now the encounter rate has gone down to 0. At least temporarily. If we keep moving around long enough, it'll rise back up to normal. But we were close enough to the end of the dungeon, that wasn't really an issue. Alright, with that taken care of, we're back over here now, and we can actually continue onward with the plot. Should be enjoyable. So, as a reminder, we're in a situation where Buttertown has been melted. And after the next episode break right here, we will find out why Buttertown has melted. And also we're going to take advantage of a very important function in RPG Maker. We will be right back.